Okay, welcome. We make it. Started a little late here, but I was trying to make sure everything was fitting right. But we started. Welcoming you to our gathering today here online. All right. Can anybody hear me? Everybody can hear me? See me and hear me fine? I see Brian. I see you there. All right. I'm back. Okay. And Andrew, I see Andy with Shalom. Shalom, you all right. Okay, I see both of you guys. All right. So sound and video are okay, all right? Am I here? You can hear me fine? All right. Yes, I do. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I'm gonna start with a song just to warm up while everybody starts joining us. I want to see if the one I was practicing earlier. Let me try this one. Um, yeah, the heaven. Yeah, I think this is the one, right? Yeah, we're doing this one, I believe. Yeah, this one. Heaven on earth. All right. As some of you might know that have followed me for a while, you know that I gave this message with a song like back last year when I was starting to write in my book, which is done by the way. Now I just got to just make some time to get it to the publisher and stuff like that. But everything is perfect as it is for now. But this is the idea that what heaven on earth is to our body, in that it supplies, heaven supplies the air, the water, the sunshine, and everything. And is the elements that feed us on a 24/7 basis are found there. And then the earth supplies the plants that replenish us with everything that we need. So what the heaven and earth are to this body, to take care of it, because everything is to take care of all flesh, to do a great, they do a great job. That's what our soul needs to be to the bar, okay, to the word. And I'm saying the bar is for Hebrew is for word. So I'm saying word and the bar is the same thing. It's just that the bar is for Hebrew. And at the beginning, I was spelling with the D Dalet, which is the D, and the Beth, because you only use consonants in Hebrew. You don't use the vowels. There's no vowels, just consonants. So maybe I was using the Beth. I was using the which Beth can be V as in Victor, or it can be B as in boy. That's the thing with Hebrew. So it depends where you put the dot. So, but I found out that most Jewish people use the bar, they spell it with a V as in Victor. So I'm using with the Victor. But in this song, you'll see it with the B as in boy, because that's how I had learned it at the beginning, and just the pronunciation. All right. So, so the whole idea is that so that we are here, so that all that God created this I call PowerPoint. His PowerPoint is the whole physical creation, to tell us that what he is doing to our body, the way the creator is showing the care for our body, that's how we have to take care of the word. Because when we take care of the word, the way he takes care of our body, we imitate the elements of heaven, and we are constantly taking care of the word, to making sure that the whole word is kept wholesome. Because that's what you learn at a job. You learn to keep words wholesome, so that you can have a job and you can present the product and service. If you only know the name of the product, you're only a consumer. But if you know the definition and the meanings, then you're a producer and you work for that company. So that's the whole idea. When you're a producer and you work and you know whole word, every word, that word that you are a heaven to that word, because you keep it refreshed, you keep it renewed, you keep it intact, you keep it alive, and you keep it producing, and you are an earth to that full wholeness of word, because you keep it replenishing the product and service that you've been trained to do. So that's the whole idea. That what the natural physical creation is to the sustenance of our body, that's what our soul needs to become to the sustenance of the dabar, of the wholesome word. So I'm gonna just start the song, right? So to give you an idea how it goes, you can join along. I work today, so my voice is not that great, but I'll try my best. I'll see Barefruit is in. All right, good to have you. Okay. You may trust the mountain because it's tall. Yerendi the boy is my all in all. And I'm bound to look at what you see. For in the boy I am now made free. Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me to see the boy in me display their magnitude. Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me brown to please you, Nagam beats. Yet in the bar, Elohim complete. Why should I look at what others see when it's the bar who now fashions to me? Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me the boy in me display the magnitude. Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me to see the boy in me display the magnitude. You may trust the mountain cause it's small, yet in the bar it's mild and all. And I'm bound to look at what you see, for in the bar I am now made free. Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me the boy in me display their magnitude. Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me to see the boy in me display their magnitude. Though a brand Nagam beats, yet in the bar Elohim complete. Why should I look at what others see when it's the bar who now fashions me? Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me the boy in me display the magnitude. Heaven and earth, whom God has made, now tell me see the boy in me display the magnitude. We have some people in here already. That's good. That's good. All right, it's good to have you. You know, we just kind of started, and so in any case, I believe with this one I can put my whole face on the screen. Let me see here. You see? Hey, all right. You know, on the big picture there, and the other one I couldn't switch back and forth, so that's why I was using this program because it can give you more flexibility. But in any event, what I was trying to tell you, you know, is that the whole idea, you know, as you can see me talk, I do a lot of reference to the employment of the word, or word in Hebrew is dabar, the dabar, because it's basically is that if you're going to be a producer in this world, or a creator, or an entrepreneur, somebody that takes care of any business, if you take care of any business, or you take care of the real nation, you're really standing for the Constitution. You know the words. You have to take care of the words. That's what you do. You go to a company and they give you the dabar, the word, and I like to use dabar because in Hebrew it's made of 3 letters. It goes like that, and I think, okay, okay. I just keep myself in the corner. We put the stuff in here to talk about. So let me put the alphabet, the chart that I was mentioning about here, the Hebrew chart. Okay, now the reason why I insist, on using the dabar, because I'm going to teach you the scriptures from the point of view of how it relates to all creation, because God is the creator of everything in here. And the thing is, when you do not teach it the way God meant for you to teach it, it creates a lot of confusion. Then creates echo chambers, the religion of when people know the name of things, but they don't know the meaning of it. That's the. I began my life of following the scriptures, to being in the Dabar and in the Torah. I began in 1979 when I was in Campus Crusade, at USC, and some people approached me, and that's what I began with Campus Crusade for Christ. So it's through the Christian that I got out to Christianity that I got into the Dabar, into the Word, okay? But one thing that I find in Christianity, that a lot of people know the name of Jesus, they say I accepted Christ, I accept Jesus, but they do not really know the meaning of his name, what it stands for, what each letter stands for, and how to live to define that meaning of that name. Because you can know the name, but if you are not living your life to define the meaning of that name, then you are not really believing in it. To believe in something is to project that word in its wholeness and its fullness, and that's why a lot of the passage, the name Yeshua or Jesus is a very powerful name if you live up to the meaning of the name, okay? And so that's what you need to understand when because it's got the Jud, it has I believe the Jud is this one that has a little hand. You see the number 10 here on the screen. I'm going to get close to that, this one. And I believe it has, so Jud for Yeshua, and then it has this one here, the She is the Shin here. So this one here, and I believe it has Ayin, the Shua. So it ends with, and I don't know if I'm missing another one, but I'm just going on. But if he has those, that means the work of holding tight, to the observations, to the things that are supposed to be watched, because the eye is for observing, for being watchful, So if you do the work of holding tight to to the things that need to be observed or watched, that means you're watching the word carefully, and therefore you're able to do the meaning of that name, which means he saves, he completes, he makes whole, he makes sure nothing lacks. That's the meaning of Yeshua. And remember that Jesus wasn't the original one with that name. Joshua in the Bible is the original one to have that name, and then in the New Testament it starts with the story of Jesus. So both of them have the same meaning in that sense. And so it means that you're doing the job of adhering, because to shin is to press or to hold tight. It's the picture of teeth, to hold tight onto the things that need to be observed or watched, So that means you do the word of adherence, and then you are adhering to all the instructions. Therefore, you are able to produce the service, to produce the product. Okay? So when you understand in the scriptures, when Jesus went to be tempted, he was tempted to see if he was living up to the meaning of his name. Okay? The first thing that he was tempted to is to, after not eating for 40 days and 40 days and 40 nights, and not eating, the enemy, the tempter, came to tempt him and told him, if you are the Son of God, command these stones that be turned into bread. And what did he say? Men shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. What he was saying is that you make a living not by just eating bread. You make a living by learning a trade, by learning the word and eating that word and consuming it, and then you become a producer. And once you make a living, you get everything. You get your bread, you get your food, and you get everything. So he found he was living up to because that's what he needed to do. He needed to show that he's adhering to the word, and therefore he can present. So he can present the character of whoever he's revealing, of the Father, or whoever he say he was revealing from the Scripture. So he was doing fine in that answer. That was the whole purpose of it. Because people don't understand. They think, what's wrong if you haven't eaten for 40 days for a temptation to be eat something? How can that be a temptation? They don't understand that the temptation was if you're living up to the meaning of the word, and the meaning that he does the job of, tightly adhering, to the things that need to be observed. I mean, that means to the Torah. As you say, he came to fulfill everything according to what he said. He had to fulfill the Torah, right? So that was the first temptation. So he found that first one, and because you're in this world not basically to come and eat bread, but basically to earn a living, and you earn a living by the words that you consume that make you become a producer, and a producer and a caretaker. So that was the first thing happened, and he took care of that. Okay, we have more people here. Let's see. All right, we're doing fine. And so that's the first thing that he found. And the second temptation, was that he was taken to a high place. It depends on which of the gospel you read. And the other one, the second, interposed with the third one. But the second one, it was that he was taken into a steeple, a high place, and the tempter told him, throw yourself because it is written, he shall send his angels that I will not dash your foot against a stone. In other words, the first temptation, the tempter was telling him, you got to use this world as your provider. So eat something from it, transform something that is not right into something that will provide you food for yourself. And he said, the answer was, no, you make a living and you become a producer. You become a provider. That was the answer that he gave. So, we're here to, first of all, provide. That's how we make a living, by providing and being a producer. Not to come and provide ourselves whatever the Lord has to give us, And so that was the first. So he found that. And the second one, what he tempting is, make sure that this world protects you. Okay? So let's test this thing, because we make sure that this world give us the insurance of protection. That was the whole idea of throw yourself. So, claim the word of God. So the whole thing that the tempter was telling him, how to teach the scriptures, in a sense, teach the scriptures so that people will use this world to provide for them, to claim the promises of God so this world provides for them, claim the promises of God so this world protects them, and then we get to the third one. But then Jesus said to him, first of all, you don't test, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. That you don't test the word. The word tests you. When you go to school, you're not testing the teacher. The teacher is testing you with the manual. The teacher gives you the test so you can live up to it. Once the manual is written, everything is taken care of, you just trust it. The word, once it's given, you trust it. You don't test it. The word tests you to see if you're living up to it. So you are not going to test the word. The word is going to test you and make sure you live up to something. So you are not going to test them. Those are the laws. You don't go and test the teacher. The teacher tests you. Okay, make sure that you're living up to something. And therefore, the instructions are to be trusted, how to run things, not to take chances. I mean, to make sure that things are bended so that the things protect you, that way. So he was putting everything in the right order. And the third one, he took him to a high mountain, to a high place, and showed him, in a moment in time, he showed him all the kingdoms and all the achievements of everybody in this world. And the tempter told him, all these things will I give you, if you will bow down and worship me. And then what the teacher said, get thee behind me, Satan. Line up, boy. We're not here to serve things. We're here because remember that Jesus called in John, he called himself the Logos, the Word, the bar he was calling himself. He says, get thee behind the Word, because you got to line up. You got to listen to the Word and follow the Word, and then the things are produced. It says, get thee behind me, Satan. That means get behind me, line up, Thou shalt serve the Lord thy God, because thou shalt serve the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. And I like to use the word God as an acronym of Governing Operations Director, GOD, because the giver of direction, because that's what God does. He has everything made, and he is the giver of direction, So the Governing Operations Director, the GOD. So you have to listen to the Governing Operations Director or the giver of directions, and then, you can produce things in the world. All the products that are found in the world, all the cars, all the watches, all the TVs, all the computers, everything is there because you bow down and listen to the word first that makes you a producer and gives you all the meanings of a product and service, and then the products are made. You don't bow down to the products that are made already. And that's the whole idea. So the whole thing that the tempter was teaching, the author of Christianity is Jesus. It was to go teach this Christianity in a way that, first of all, is make sure that the world is there to provide for you. Okay, and he did not do that. He defended that the right way. We are here to acquire the word, to eat the words. We live by every word that comes out of the word of the governing operations director. Once we get words for that, we have a living and we create a job. That's how it is, and that's the law. You cannot deviate from that. That's exactly how things are. And the second one is make sure that this word protects you. That is here, nothing happens to you, and you can call angels and everything to protect you. And he said that's not what it's about. The world has got to be trusted. You don't test the word and anything like that. You are here to protect the world, not for the world to protect you. And the third one, make sure you get all the products of the world. No, you're here to produce products to this world. First of all, the character of your maker as you understand who he is, and then products and services as they're given to you. So that's how Jesus passed the test of the meaning of his name. Okay? And he passed it for flying colors in that sense because he really did not bend the things backwards. He represented what his name was about. All right? Now, there's a lot of people that have come in the name of Jesus now, and they have taught this Christianity in the way that the tempter wanted Jesus to teach it. That we are here in this world to make sure that the world gets provisions for us, that gets to give us their products and services, and is fair in giving us our own little things. There's a lot of so-called Christianity from the prosperity teachers and all of that teach that, the thing that the tempter wanted Jesus to teach. Okay? So to me, they don't qualify to bear the name of Jesus because, they use his name, but they misrepresent him. Okay? Because that's not what Jesus did in that temptation, you see? And they want the world to protect them. And they make sure, they order angels, they bind the demons, all of that stuff, but so that they will be protected. So nothing will happen to their flesh. Everything is for the sake of the flesh. And so that's something that Jesus did not do. So even though they call themselves by the name of Jesus, to me, they don't qualify to have that name because, they're dishonoring that name because that's not what Jesus did. And then they want the products, right? They want all the products, the world. No, we are here mainly to be producers, to be people that make things and maintain them. Therefore, we are in love with the upkeep of words. Words are our heritage. And by I mean words is wholesome words. Okay? So, one of the main reasons, we're getting, what time is it? 9? All right. Not bad. In about 10 more minutes, I'll start giving the first prize here. We'll see. But so far, so good. Let's see how many people we have. We only have Brian and Andy. Is that it? Let me see if I can see anybody else down here. All right. All right. All right. We'll see how anybody's going to join us, you guys. We have Kathy. All right, Kathy, good to see you. All right. All right, we have some more people coming, so we'll keep on going for a little while. But what I'm saying is, one of the reasons why I like to study the Word of God at the bar, as focusing on learning what the Word is all about. Let me put the chart here again, the Hebrew chart. Yeah. Okay, because once, for example, the one that inspired me to get into the meaning of the Word, and I understood that that's where everything really came down to, is David. Okay, in the Bible, the longest song and the biggest poem and the biggest song in the Bible is dedicated to each letter of the alphabet. Okay, he wrote the longest chapter in the Bible, which is Psalm 119. David wrote Psalm 119, and for each letter he dedicated 8 verses. Each letter for Aleph is 8 verses. For Beth, the second letter, is 8 verses, and so on. So at the end is 176 verses, I believe. 176 verses in Psalm 119, which is the longest chapter in the Bible, and is the longest poem, and is the longest, the biggest, the largest song, because Psalms were songs. And so they're all dedicated to the alphabet. So if you all of a sudden discover that the longest chapter in the Bible is all dedicated to the alphabet, to the Hebrew of the alphabet, then you got to know that there's something deep hidden in there. And so that's what got me into getting into the meaning of the words behind, the names behind the word. Each word has a lot of things to say, you know, and then connecting that with our world, you see. And so then I found out as I went along that, for example, in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, the first 5 books, if you count all the sequence of the Hebrew letters, to write all the Torah is 304,805 Hebrew letters to write the whole Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible written by Moses. By the way, Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, and also Moses wrote the book of Job, in case you did not know. Because Job came before Moses, but he knew the story, and he's the one that wrote the book. So, so this is all the books that Moses wrote are the Torah, the first 5 books, and also the book of Job, written by Moses. Just to keep that in your mind. But in any case, so the total amount is 304,805 letters of the Hebrew. Now remember, they don't have vowels in the Hebrew, so they put little dots to create the vowels. When you learn more of that as you proceed later on to if you want to learn Hebrew, but that's interesting. So when I was studying this, I was wondering, because these are the letters. The Torah is the first 5 books that were given to feed our soul, our inner part, so we understand the economy of God. And the economy that he was imparting was this personality that he was revealing, how to conduct ourselves in this creation, with the mindset of the Creator, that we are here to do maintenance to it, to do the upkeep of it, upkeep of the garden, not to mainly to devour it, and find out what else can we do in the devouring procedure. All right, so just mainly to, we were supposed to be what I call garden dispensers. We had a garden that was given to us, and we were supposed to make it multiply from ourselves and everything that we see around us, just to keep it multiplying. So we were going to be garden dispensers, But with the absence of his instruction, we have become garbage disposals. Because everything that we do, we just turn it into garbage. Because we don't know wholesome words. We just know, sound words, and we don't know the meaning of everything. So we can only be consumers. All right, so we use garbage disposal. We just devour everything. We use and abuse products, and that's it. When we want the next upgrade, we're nothing. Our soul is nothing but a garbage disposal. But we were supposed to be a garden dispenser, one that gives out gardens, gives out life, keeps things producer. So we're supposed to be in the maintenance of things and the sustenance of things. Okay, so that's the thing to remember about this. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is because therefore the bar became very important to me, and then finding out that that this that the Torah had that, I got very curious and I wanted to find out one day, and I said to myself, I wonder how many trees, edible trees, are there in the world. Okay, and then when I did a Google search, and I found out about this guy named John Warren, who had written a book, named The Nature of Crops, in which he studies, all the nations, how much food and plants they encourage people to eat. And then he found out that there's about 400,000 species, about 400,000 species of trees that are in the world. And of those 400,000, this is the interesting part, there's about 300,000 are edible. So then I match the connection there. That's how you can see that the creator of the one that feeds the soul also correlates to the physics, because the herbs and trees were the ones, the plants, the plants, edible plants. There's 300,000 edible plants that were given for the body that are the original food that we're supposed to have, And so he made 300,000 on that. And then in this book, this guy indicates that of those 300,000, approximately, which means a little bit more, so that very close to 304,805 letters. It's no coincidence right there that the author of what he gave us to feed our soul with also made something to feed our bodies. Because remember, everything correlates. What God does for our body, that's what he's doing for our soul with the word. Okay, so we need to understand this correlation. Okay, and so then I understood, wow, but then this book goes on to say that this guy said that the nations of the world, the industrialized nations, make sure that of those 300,000, only about 200 of those, 200, not 2,000, but 200 plants are the ones that we are accustomed to eat, from condiments and stuff like that. And when I ask people, name 35 fruits or vegetables that you've eaten, most of us can't even reach 12 or 20, because they don't eat that much of the original garden. They are led by what I call the original garden was a resilient garden, a garden that can procreate and can multiply by itself without the help of manpower. But we have a man-made garden now that needs the manpower help and for all the products and services that we use, and that's what I call the retarded garden in comparison to the resilient garden that we had to begin with. 300,000, what a variety, you know. And I myself haven't eaten 200, so I don't even know the name of that many myself. So we have been deprived. That's why our nations wants us deficient, because that's how they make money, by being deficient. Okay, so that's what this book explains. If you ever can get a hold of that, that's what it's talking about. And uh, so that's what we're looking into, at this situation you know, that that we need to acquire the understanding, therefore, that the dabar is very important. The word of God is very important, and then we have to understand it by the meaning of it and get behind the meaning of it. And so the reason why I got very interested in that then is because I wanted to know. Now, let me explain. Last week I was talking about what I call the varium, okay? That I was saying that we are not just this physical body, but we have a soul, and our soul is filled with words, okay? And these words are instructions about different things that exist in the world. Depends what your area of expertise. If you're going to be an architect, let me put this up here like that. Uh, whatever you're going to be in this world, or an engineer or whatever, there's different things that you have to learn. And therefore, your soul doesn't really have, your soul is very fluid. It's like liquid. It's like waters to me, because, it shapes into different things. So whatever knowledge you acquire, if you acquire the knowledge of engineering, you identify as an engineer. You become an engineer because that's the solutions that went into you, the waters that came into you. And therefore, and you become an architect, then you identify with the buildings. Like, for example, if you're one of these guys, an architect, you will know exactly what this building is located and everything, because your soul has expanded into it, because he made those things and knows what he's doing. You'll know exactly the measurements of this little park that you made there. Everything, your soul will be aware of it, because it grows into whatever it's making, or to whatever it's being instructed to. So that's why I consider the soul at the varium, okay? A place in which a scale model of what is being presented to the world is kept in the form of instructions, okay? And so we are like at the varium, a whole situation in which all these instructions are kept in us. So different pictures of what I call at the varium, we have it in ourselves, and then we bring a scale model, and then we bring it into the world. But it's in us to begin with. That's why our souls are very valuable when they are producers, because we make things, and there's ideas, create the world. So the whole world is sustained by words, by wholesome words. That's why we have to become in this world ministers of words, okay? And that's why we have the patent office, and it's revered by all nations. That if you come up with a product and you patent it, nobody messes up with that, because it's yours. That's your intellectual property, and it's really protected. And the reason why the patent office exists is so that you can claim, have a claim on the product and service that you thought of. You have intellectual property that you can claim, because that's what gives value to your invention. That exclusivity. That's what makes you an exclusive owner. And that's why you don't sell. You sell the product and service that was made out of the dust. But the idea, the whole, floor plan or schematics or blueprints on everything of your idea, that's your intellectual property, and is being safeguarded by the patent office. So until different pictures of people come out with scale models for do different things. So these are different variums. And I went over this last week. We look at the different things that people make, and they work. So their soul is very creative, and it's very fluid, and it can make all kinds of things. So that's why all in this world, we are a bunch of the variants, people that contain words and knowledge for the different areas that we're taking care of in this world, and that's what we're doing. So I went over this last week, and there's different variants, like terrariums that people make, and they use it for the decorations or something that they wish they had. They put them in their desk to dream of the day when they're gonna get something like that. or so they have different things they go by. But I also gave you, if I believe, let me see, I got to the Hebrew picture of how the early historical Hebrews looked at the world. Let me get to this one here. I think I have him in this thing. I'm trying to get to them. Okay, here. We look at the firmament. This is the story of creation. I was like a whole vivarium there, the whole thing. And that's what Moses, that's the first picture that he was given in the Torah, because in the Torah, that's how it's revealed. It revealed that there was a firmament, this little arc that goes in the middle, and there was the waters above and the waters below. The sun and the moon were created on the fourth day, and they were put up in there, and the stars above. And so everything was self-contained, and so that's why it was look, Sheol or hell was underneath the ground, and all these things. That's how it was presented. So it was like a complete system, okay, and so the whole thing is, but he came with that. He was instructed with those ideas, with that mindset, all right, and so different ways. This is another picture from a different angle, but this is the ancient Hebrew conception of the universe, all right. So, but the whole thing is that God is in control, and God is in charge of everything, and that's how He has set it up. But we here in this world, we're supposed to learn the word that will guide us to reveal His character. So the first economy was basically there to reveal, the character of our Maker. Okay, so now, all right, let me get with the first question here. Let's see how we have here. Are we ready for the first question? Let me see who's in the line here. I see Brian, Andy, Barefoot. I see who else is back here then. I don't know how this is gonna work, because I see Rosa, good to see you. Kathy, I see Kathy, very good. All right. All right, this is very good. Okay. Now, let me see. Got my understanding here. All right. Okay. Let me get to the top. All right. Oh, okay. So the things are all the way in the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to put myself in the bottom so I can see the comments when they answer. All right. Now, the first question. Let me get the $50 ready. All right. Let me have it. There I have it. I would have put my wallet here. I'm so sorry. I showed it earlier. I was trying to fix everything up here. All right. Got some moolah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. $50. So you see, right here. All right. All right. $50. Buckaroos. All right. The first question I want to see who's going to be the first one to answer. Who wrote the longest book in the Bible, chapter in the Bible? Who wrote it? The longest chapter in the Bible. Who wrote it for $50? Let me hear the first person answering here. Anybody? Let me see. I don't have to wait because there's some lag time with what I'm saying and what you guys actually put the answer in there. But let me see if I can see anybody answer it first. Who wrote the longest chapter in the Bible, which is Psalm 119? Who wrote that? For $50. Let me see. Who we have here? Anybody? All right. I'm trying to give me some time. Let me go to the bottom here. All right. I see some answers here. Let me see who came first. Okay. Yeah, I see some answers. Okay. The first one that said it, David, I see that Brian did. Okay. Brian, you get $50. Then some other people answer after him, which is good, but I gave it to the first one. So that was the first question. All right. So we have David. All right. I mean, David was answered by Brian. So Brian gets $50, Brian. All right, man. I'll be getting to you either tomorrow night or Friday, because I have to walk tomorrow to the bank to put this on there. But I'll be getting in touch with you about sending you that through Zelle. Remember Zelle? I can sell it. I can send it to an email, okay, or I can send it to you know to a phone, cell phone number. But I use Zelle for that, so just keep that in mind. All right, so that's good. So we have a first winner there for today. All right, so we're gonna keep going. All right. So what I'm trying to say here, that's very good. That David wrote the longer chapter in the Bible, which is 119, chapter 119 of Psalms, and has 176 verses, and it was dedicated to the Hebrew alphabet. Okay, and so the longest is the longest song and the longest poem in the Bible, written by David, and it's dedicated to the Hebrew alphabet. For each letter, there's 8 verses. Okay, and the total of letters in the alphabet, Hebrew alphabet, are 22. 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. So that's why it comes down, to 176. It's the total that he wrote. So that's very good. Now, let's go back to what we're looking at here. Now, we're going to look at the bar again for the Hebrew alphabet. We're going to go out to the chart again. Okay, so what I want you to learn is what I was fascinated with when I found out the meaning of the word the bar. Okay, is made out of these 3 letters. The Daleth, which is the number 4 here. I show you here the Daleth. That's for Da. And then the Beth is the number 2 here. That's for the B sound. And we're using B as in boy, but it usually uses V as in Victor for the bar, I found out. So that's the Beth. And then the Resh, this one 200 all the way here. Resh is the R, for the R sound. And Resh is the picture of a head. Okay, so let me go and let's look at it with the pictures. Now, the Hebrew alphabet is given, it's not the way that we learn English and Spanish. We just learn the sound of the letters, phonetics. But this is a pictographic language. It's a picture for it. The old one was the picture of this. Then they became, once the people went to Babylon, then they became the ones on top. But the ones in the bottom were the original language. They were given with little pictures, okay? And that meant for something, it's a function. Because the creator is making sure that something functions, that something works. As a matter of fact, the word tub in Hebrew, which is for the word good, is for the word, and God saw that it was good. That means God saw that it functions. The creator wants to make sure that once something is made, he wants to make sure that it works, that it's functioning. Okay, so God is interested in how things function because he's a creator. So Dalet means door, which also door could be a gate. And gate in the Bible is for governing or administration. Okay, so Dalet stands for administration or governance. Okay, Beth is a house. It can be a family. It's a house that is full of all the supplies. It's like a warehouse, something that has all the inventory in it, something that is needed to provide for the whole family. So the house is always the big provider. In the Egyptians, the word Pharaoh means house. Okay, by the way, Pharaoh originally meant a house, and so the person that was in charge of that house became known by that name. So it was transferred to a person, the word Pharaoh. But Pharaoh just meant the big house. Like we have the White House. All nations have their big house because it stands for the ones that hold the legislatures and have all the people that have the laws of the land and everything. So it's the house that is full of supplies that is needed to run a family or a country or a business. So that's the picture of a floor plan here, you see, and that's the Beth. So it's the administration of the house, okay, and the Resh, okay, the Resh is the head, or is the rule or a ruler. That's why the one above, the authority, see, the head figure, and it stands for what is the head is the part is above you, so it's the ruler of the whole body. It's the function. It provides the function of being how could you say, of being the main thing, the top one, the rules. And so when I can think of the English word to translate it, then you have to think for the word Dalet, Davar, Dalet, Beth, and Resh, you can come up with 3 English words to translate it. Okay? For Dalet, which means that the gate is governance or administration, because that's what gate stands in the Hebrew. In the story, the gate is if a man stood at the gate, I mean he worked for the government. And you see the phraseology that appears. Lots worked at the gate. He was working for the government. You know, and in any case, uh, Beth is the house, okay, and then Resh is the rules or the ruler, okay, or the what's above, or the one that's ruling everything, and the one on top of things. And so when you translate that in English, you need to have three words to translate it, which means the administration of the house of rules. Okay, for the house of rules, I found a word in English that comes the closest to it is economy, because it's made of two words: eco, which means house, and nomos, which means in Greek it means rules. Okay, so economy means the house and the rules. So the house of rules, and so you need actually two words, but the word economy is made of two words, right? So it's like it means the administration of the economy. Okay, that's what Dalet the bar means. Dalet, Beth, and Resh means the administration of the economy. So when God gave a word, He called it a word, but He was giving a wholesome word, because in order for you to be given an administration of any economy, whether it be a country, whether it be a business, or what have you, you're gonna have to learn a whole word, not just the sound of the word, but how everything is connected. You're gonna have to know meanings, definition of things, and how to connect everything. All right. So all of that is encapsulated in the word dabar. That God did not give an empty word. We're used to learning words in this country just for the sake of using the picture of the product and buying, and that's it. That's just an echo chamber. You're not running anything. You're not fooling anybody or that you're a producer of anything. You're only a consumer. And if in the Bible you're a consumer, you're nothing. You're without form and void. Because you know the word, but that word inside of you is without form and void. Does not make you a producer of that word. It only makes you a consumer of it. Therefore, you are held to that product because you don't know, how all the definitions and all the meanings. If you don't know all the definitions and the meanings of a word, then you are heaven to the product. Because you renew, restore, and refresh it. That's what the dew of heaven does. All of that, the air renews, refreshes, and restores, and that's what you do to a product that's made by a wholesome word. You begin to understand that's the whole idea, that we're here to live for the word and to represent the word at its best, as a wholesome word, not as an empty word. Okay, so that's the whole idea. So I began to understand that. Okay, and then once I began to understand that's how I began to measure everything. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to convey here. So we live in a world right now that is run by an economy of what I call the retarded garden. Some of you have heard me mention this phrase before, because the retarded garden are these man-made plants that need to depend on manpower to run. The whatever these products, your little cell phone, your little Apple, or whatever it is that you have, all of that cannot self-replicate. No matter how fancy, how advanced they are, they need manpower to be made. Flesh and blood and brains of humanity have to go into those man-made plants and factories and make them. So they utilize the manpower. They're not resilient, organic life that can duplicate and do all the things on their own with that manpower. So that's why I call them the retarded garden. So in this retarded garden, we have to learn, it's just we don't have time just to learn just a product at a time, okay? Because remember, these things cannot make themselves, right? They cannot duplicate themselves. So we are busy just learning a product at a time, whatever company we happen to be working at that time. Okay, and so it takes a lot of time to learn. If you're going to be learning in different products, you're not going to have time to learn anything else but that. So that's why most people learn words as empty words, just to be the consumer of different products in this economy of the retarded garden. And so you attach yourself, because you mostly know a lot of empty words. You have to attach yourself, since you lack a definition. Only when you have all the fullness of a definition, you're a producer and you don't need to hang on to products, because you can make them. But if you cannot make them, you have to be attached to these products, whether it be cars, whatever it be, and you are known by the attachment that you have to. So how many things you're attached to? Well, I have a car, I have this and that. So everybody's bragging about the things they are attached to in this world, because that's the nature of the retarded garden. And so when you happen to live in a retarded garden like we happen to be right now, all nations are in a retarded garden because they forsook the resilient garden. And so when things like this happen right now, when this retarded garden economy can be shaken and things can be brought to a halt, people are scared. Their devarium, the knowledge of whatever little product that they knew how to make, is being challenged. It's being, choked, you say, because it's being stranded. They cannot move. They feel, so that's, I can see how people are feeling all stressed out. They don't know what the future holds and everything because the devarium, their soul, have the knowledge of whatever product and service in this retarded garden, and they're not being allowed to do it. Or it has disappeared because, the retarded garden could not subsist with being held up for so long. And so a lot of people are suffering because of that. So that's why it's important for you to get the right mindset, that if you know what the varium you need to have, what you need to fill your soul with words of the Devar you need to have, to you have the right the varium in there, then your economy cannot be shaken by this economy, that the retarded economy that most people live in. And so that's what allows me to be in this world, because my devarium is the understanding of the character of my maker, and I learned to live on very little. So I have made these economies, these governments of this world, in a way I have made them what they call you. They call you non-essential. If you're staying at home, they call you non-essential. But if you have to go, they call you essential. But I have made all these things non-essential in my life for a long time. So when these things have happened, I have no need of them because I have never had any health insurance or life insurance. I watch what I eat. That's my insurance. I know what I put in this body, which is not for me. It's the temple of the Word. It's the temple of the Maker. So I have to take care of it because it's not my possession. So I watch what I eat. That's my insurance. So I don't have any doctor's insurance. I have anything. So all these things I have made it non-essential in my life. I don't need the stuff that the world offers me that tell me I need to have this. I don't have it. Because to me I don't need it because since 2003 I learned how to eat right after I had my mild stroke, and so after that, there was no need. I found out that after doing fasting since 2012, 3 fastings a year and so on, and then found out 40-day fasting that I was doing. Then I found out that this body is so amazing that it could live on so little and be energized with so little. That's how I got into becoming a giver. I enjoy giving a lot of stuff. And I encourage you to, if you get into fasting, you'll find that you have a lot of money left. No matter how much money you make, because I wasn't making that much money as I'm making now, even then in 2012. But that's when I managed to buy this microphone. I bought the video camera that I'm using. I bought all this equipment because, there was so much money was being left. I wasn't making that much money. In 2012, as a matter of fact, I was making $8 an hour. I was making in 2012 in this job. Okay? And so, and even then I was paying my rent and I had money to buy all these things and this equipment, and the programs that I needed for the computer to run all these things, because I found out, and then as the years went on and the salary increased and everything, I kept my budget low. So I become a bigger giver, and just being in a giving mood is just keeps you excited all the time. You're happy all the time. You don't get sick when you're happy all the time. Just with that mindset. But on top of that, I eat good. I only eat 1 meal a day right now. That's my plan. Even though right now we got one of my good buddies here in this group that started a fast, and I told him, okay, I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to go with his here. This person is going to do a 4-day fast for the first time. So I show some solidarity. I say, I'm going to do 4-day fast with you. So starting today, we're going to do a 4-day fast all the way to Saturday. I'm only drinking distilled water, and he's only drinking his stuff that he's drinking. But that's my fast to accompany him. So we're doing this together. So I do things like this from time to time to encourage people that are starting something like that. So this is part of the way I carry myself. And so, so I'm telling you that this kind of lifestyle does not stress you out at all. Just living to understand the understanding of your maker and making that your main economy, because that's where I spend my time reading this word and understanding the meaning behind the words and how it connects with everything, and that's why I just wanted to create this group so I can share with you, the things that I use, the tools that I use that help me navigate through this world and not be attached to the thing in this world, because every suffering that mankind has is the attachments that your soul makes to the things in this world. If your soul attaches to the temporary things of this world, especially the things from the retarded garden, man, you're going to suffer like crazy. I mean, there's no escape. You're going to be suffering because the retarded garden needs the manpower, and sooner or later he'll die when the manpower is not there. And then what's going to happen to you? There goes your life. People make a living, doing all kinds of industries, all kinds of things in the retarded garden, right? So when those products and services come to an end, there goes your life. Because, and then you suffer all the consequences of the attachment to those things. And, that's why I'm saying, so that it's best just to be in the mindset of your maker, understand what he wants you to see, and whatever he allows you to work in this world, do your best there, and he'll take care of you if you just want to understand his mindset. Like I said, this job that I'm working right now, I've been here since 2008. And 2008 was another year that everybody was going like crazy. The economy went down, the market was really bad and everything. People lost their houses, lost their 401k, and that's the year that I had two jobs. I wasn't looking for two jobs, but that's when I got two jobs, and I got this one. And I've been in this job for 12 years now, more than 12 years now. Okay, I started there April 28th, so this April 28th was 12 years, and now it's more than 12 years, right? So, but I wasn't looking. Somebody told me about this job because they knew I was an interpreter. So I am in this job, but not mainly because I was looking for it, but because God opened the doors. My focus has always been to understand the scriptures so I can understand his mindset, and that has not hurt me. I've been at this since 1979. It's going to be 41 years of just getting into the scriptures and getting into his mindset. So that's my encouragement to you, that you need to get into that. But so that the bar, that's what it stands for, It stands for the administration, which is the door, of the economy. The house, eco is house, and nomos is rules. The administration of the economy. So if you really learn the Torah teaches you to be an economist. Because it teaches you the original economy that you were supposed to live for, which was the economy of revealing the personality of the Maker. Because everything was provided for us. 300,000 edible trees. Imagine, to cater for our health and longevity. Woo! All the trees that are ready to feed you. Everything, you have to work for them. You have to watch the tree so you can learn from them. To be that kind of thing. And you were supposed to be like the tree, in the sense that the tree is God told us to be the keeper of the tree, but to keep an eye on the behavior of trees, because the trees are the ones that do good to the land. The land is feeding the tree, but when the fruit falls on the ground or the leaves fall on the ground, and they perish, they become compost. They feed the ground, and also the dry leaves also purify the waters. That's what people do, teas to detox themselves, because dry leaves purify water. So the trees purify the soil, purify the water, they purify the air. Okay, so all the ingredients, that are helping humanity, they do a wonderful job to keep them going, keep the earth going, keep the waters going, keep the air going for us. Imagine. So that's what we need to do. That's what our soul needed to be to the word, to keep it refreshed, renew, and restore. And that's why we learn wholesome words, so that we keep products refresh, renew, and restore. We keep the personality of God refresh, renew, and restore in revealing his mindset. So that was the first industry. Was the only industry in the resilient garden is just to know his mindset, to know how to reveal what a character of completeness behaves like in his creation of wholesomeness, where everything replicates itself, from insects and everything. And so that was the whole mindset, just to reveal a personality. Now we have the breakdown in this retarded garden. We do reveal personalities, just like the movie industry. It's all about revealing characters and personality, right? And the movie industry is a big deal because it makes gods out of people that are good actors. If you're a good actor, you become like a god to the people, because, you make them cry, you make them laugh, you do all these things because you're such a good actor. And they pamper you, even though you have no character. You are not allowed to really have a real character, but you have to be flexible. One day you have to play the role of a king. One day you have to play the role of a homosexual. So you go back and forth. You can have a fixed character. So you're no moral compass. But people look at you because you make them cry, you make them laugh, and those are the idols that the nations have. Sadly to say, because that's all you get in the retarded garden. You don't get people really fixed character. And so that's one of the industries. And the other industry is the industry of making products. You go to the man-made plants that need manpower to run it because they're retarded. They cannot duplicate themselves, and so you have to make products because these gardens, are retarded. So you have to create another industry. You play the role of the ground and soil. You have to be the soil by which these plants are raised up from the ground up, and you product all the product. You go to work and make all the products and services there. So you do the role of the soil. You did not need it. God did not make you to function like the soil. It made you to function like the spirit. Like the a spirit is just the fullness of meaning, right away, because the spirit is breath of ruach, is what animates our soul, what animates our body. Okay, so once you have a word in its fullness, you keep a product service animated. You have ruach, you have spirit, you have fullness of meaning. Okay, so we were supposed to be this spirit. You identify with the breath that God breathed in us. But then we were cursed to become ground. Thus thou art, thus shalt thou return. That means we inherit the function of the dirt and soil. So in this retarded garden, we are the soil, and all the products are brought out of us and out of our manpower, and they consume our intelligence, they consume our brightness, they consume everything that we have, so we can make them, and we have this retarded garden of things that we have to make. Okay, I'm telling you this thing because that's how I look at them, and so if you get my understanding, you'll see why I don't hold on to things. I might get something and then I get bored with it right away and give it away. Because I thought I needed something and then I don't need it anymore. Because to me the idea, if I know how to do it, then to me that's better than having it. And so that's why I like to be in the doing process of things, because the doer is always, the one that does things because know how to make them will always be a giver, and being a keeper of wholesome words will always make you a giver. Okay, so that's the whole idea of trying to encourage you, to be in this mindset of the tabar, to learn, to be the administrator, of the economy. And so that's what I'm saying. So the Bible actually, when you get to the root downward, you become an economist, because the Torah is to teach you how to run a whole nation, how to run your behavior, how to relate to the world around you, how to relate to animals, what things are pure, what things are not pure, how to govern everything. If you memorize the whole Torah, you will know how to run a whole nation. And that's one of the things that he has proven itself, that he has gone with the Jewish people. He has gone through every places, and they have been exiled here and there. They've been tortured here and there. They're still around, keeping this Torah around and going in. So it has proven itself, that no matter what circumstances he's been put through, no matter what countries he's been maligned, through the Jewish people, he has kept going. So this Torah is resilient to the keeping of a nation, no matter what circumstances they go through. Okay? So it has proven itself in that way. So it's something that, no other nation usually, when they leave their land, they absorb into other cultures and they disappear. At least their ways, 2 or 3 generations down the line, they don't even know they're heroes of their own land. They just have become absorbed into the culture of the new place they're in. And that's not happened to a lot of, especially the conservative Jewish. They keep a lot of the practice from a long time ago. They still have it. I watch a lot of the old conservative ones, and it's interesting what they still keep around, But what I'm saying is, so it's amazing to me. This book has proven itself in that sense, So I have learned a lot of things from just, and now that I'm behind the words and learning the meanings, to me is very exciting. Okay, and let me see how we're doing here. That with the time wise, we're going to do one more prize pretty soon. In about 5 minutes, we're going to do another prize giveaway. And so let me get to something else I wanted to talk about, because this has to do with the title of my book. And I'm going to put it up here. Yep. This is the one. Okay. Let me see if I can put it here. Move this a little bit to the side. All right. So put a bit more here. All right. So we can see here. All right. So this is the title of the book, but I have added one more word. The success of the functioning administration of the economy. Okay. That was the last thing that I had thought of. But the success of the functioning administration of the economy. The word success in Hebrew, this word here is sakal. And then you see it in Joshua 1:8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, at the end that thou may have good success. And this word is in Hebrew sakal, and it has to do to adhere, to the instructions that are being approved of. So success in the Bible is not something that you have acquired, but the ability to adhere to instructions so you can produce those products. So if you can adhere to instructions and meanings and definitions so you can produce a certain product or service, that's when you call a success in the scriptures. Adhering to wholesome words to create a product or service or reveal a personality, that's what you call a success. And of the functioning administration of the economy. And this has to do with everything as a wholesome word. Because in every economy, you are taught to learn something as a wholesome word. If you're going to work for a car company, you're going to learn there how to make cars, not just how to drive them, and enjoy them on the road. Okay, I'm working and I'm just going to drive each new car every day. No, you're going to learn how to make them, how to produce them, how to keep them, how to restore them, how to refresh them, how to renew them. That's the whole idea of learning a whole word. And therefore, you adhere, though you are successful because you adhere to and you make a product that functions. And then you're in charge of the administration of that economy, that business. Another word for economy will be a business, okay? And that's another translation for the bar, the word business. But I like economy because it encapsulates two words. So that's what you do. When you have a wholesome word, everybody works to adhere themselves to making sure that it's working, making sure that it's being, run. The operations are smoothly, the system is running smoothly, okay? And so that's what we do. So I'm into the management of wholesome words, to getting away. And so what happened is that I'm going to give you this verse and I'm going to share this part with you. Because this is a very exciting thing. This happened to me in the June 19, Friday. That's the day that we're celebrating when the slaves were set free. Supposedly that was the celebration for that. That's a special Juneteenth, they call it, June 19. But that to me, that was the day when it became clear to me this word one. I had to use it the right way, okay? And I'll see if I'm going to have time to share with you. I'm probably going to finish sharing it next week. But let me read from Deuteronomy 6:4. It says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." Okay? Deuteronomy 6:4. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." Now I don't have Hebrew here, but I'm going to read it to you in Hebrew. In Deuteronomy 6:4, the word Deuteronomy in Hebrew is hatabarim, because dabar is word and dabarim is words. They put the im, I am at the end, and it makes it plural. All plurals in the Hebrew usually went with im, with I am. But in any case, the bar is word and the barim is words. But here, the word Deuteronomy 6:4, it means Shema, O Yisrael, Adonai Elohenu, Adonai Echad. And the word one in Hebrew is Echad. It's Aleph, Chet, and Daleth. I'll show you in a minute in the thing, but I'm going to combine this because that's what I added to the title now, and that's what made it final. That came to me, this understanding came to me in June 19. That's why I understand that what's going to happen now is that people are going to understand that words are no longer going to be used to be enslaved to a spirit of wantonness, but that means words are not going to be used just for people to use them as consumers, because that's what we're happy to be, just consumers. To learn words, we know a lot of words, but we don't know how to make those products. We'll just know the name of a product and how it looks so we can use it and consume it and then to get the next upgrade. And so as that, we are being raised, we're being formed, our souls are being formed, to be in the spirit of wantonness, to be garbage disposals, not garden dispensers. Okay? And God wants us to be garden dispensers, to learn the word in the fullness of His meaning. Because if you learn the word in full of His meaning, you are a garden dispenser. You provide what is there and you make it abound. You replenish and you multiply, whether it be from the retarded garden or from the garden of the resilient garden. You make it abound. Okay? And so that's why I understood the word is the one, the bar is the one that has been a slave in the slavery of the wanton spirit, because all consumers, which is mostly America, they're proud to call themselves the number one consuming capital of the world. That's nothing to be proud of, by the way. If all you can do is consume products, that's the worst representation of the Dabar you can ever give to creation. And that's why God is ashamed of anybody that does not want to present the word in the fullness of his usefulness. Every word can be known in the fullness of its meaning and definition, and therefore is an economy. When you know a word in the fullness of its definition, you run a business, you run an economy. When you know a car in the fullness of its definition, you run a whole car industry. You hire people and everything. When you when you know a TV in the fullness of its meaning, you have a whole TV industry to run. So it's better to know a word in the wholeness of his on the fullness of his meaning than to know it in the emptiness of it, and therefore, and we have been encouraged, so far that it's okay just to be an echo chamber, to be garbage disposal, and that's not the way God made us for. So it's very clear to me that this is the change that is going to happen then, that the bar is going to be delivered, from the spirit of wantonness to live in a spirit of wholesomeness, the spirit of the maker, so that therefore everything that we learn is just to be producers, to be makers, to be people that do maintenance. And we are proud of this because that's what gives you value, by the way, is the ability that you can do that, okay? And you have a certain value for that. And so in this word, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And let me see. I'll time for another prize. Let me get another prize here before I get further into that. All right, let me see how many people we have. Still have the same amount of people. See, it's good to have a little group. Okay, people get a wind of this, they're going to start coming more often here. Let me get to this part here so I can see when somebody answers. Let me get this here. All right, here. All right, now where I can go here and I can get all the way down before I ask the question so I can see who's going to answer me. All right. All right, okay. All right. Now I understand some people had to go to sleep. I understand you. But the rest of us here, we can see what we can do. All right. Now, it's hard to read it, huh? Okay, I'm sorry, yeah. Because I know it's not high definition yet. It usually gets high definition after it's finished. So, okay, but in any case, let me get ready the next question here now. Okay. Ready for the next question? Okay, here we go. In Hebrew, how do you say word in Hebrew? All right, let's see who will be first one on this one. Word, how do you say that in Hebrew? Anybody with me? We haven't answered the bar from Andy Crespin. All right, Andy, you got $50 coming your way. All right, so we have some. Andy won that one. All right, the bar, correct. That's what I've been saying. So yeah, these are not hard questions. I'm making it easy, so we can make it. We have a good time with it. So the bar, that's correct. The bar is the word. All right, and then remember the bar means the Dalet, Beth, and Resh, the administration of the economy or of the business. Okay, that's the meaning of it. Because it means Dalet means the gate, the door. Beth means the house. And Resh, means the rules. And so that's what we're learning so far. All right, so okay. Perfect. We have people here still. Okay, so we'll continue. All right, so let me get to the other one here right now. Okay, where we? Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So we were looking at this one. So um, so in Deuteronomy 6:4, I'm sorry if the letters cannot be seen. Trying to get as close as possible. Let me see if I can do. They get more bigger here. Okay, but it's the top line, the black line on top is here. There, Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. So Shema means here. Oh, Israel, for Israel. Adonai is the Lord. Eloheinu is God. And Adonai is the Lord. And Ehad is one. So in the scriptures, Israel stands for, the word Israel just is made of two words, Yis, which means prince or leader with God. El and El. El means Elohim. The word for El is for God singular, and Elohim just means gods. But El means, so Israel means prince or leader with God. Here, O prince or leader with God, or the powers, because El stands for powers. The Yehud Have Vev, that's for the word Lord. Jehovah, the Yud He Vav He, which stands for, Yud is the work of animating, the connecting animators. Yud He Vav He. Our Elohim is, Elohim, and then in the Hebrew is the Lord, and then is one. Now this word one, this is what I want to make an emphasis. One here in the Hebrew is Echad, which I'm going to give you the letters right now. Let me go to the Hebrew chart. Okay. Echad is written with the Aleph. Okay, and then it's written, it has the Het. This is kind of hard for one because you have to kind of go ha, like Het, Het. It's very hard for me to pronounce with Het. So the Aleph is an ox. It stands for strength. To have strength, to have maximum, to have, to be very strong, to have fortitude, constitution, to have strength, and so it makes you a leader. Okay, so it's to have strength, and then the Het is a wall or a fence, something that provides defense or separation or protection. A wall is for protection or defense. Okay, and then the last one it ends with a Dalet. Okay, so it's Aleph, Het, Dalet. So it's Echad. That's how you say it. Echad. Echad. And so it means a strong wall and door. So it's strong, or the strongest one, wall and door. Now the function, being a strong, I mean, you being the leader, you being the maximum leader. You being the one on top of things, and you're strong because of that. And then if there's a wall, that means you provide a defense, you provide a protection. That's what a wall is. And then door means for a system or governing or administration. So if you put the three words together, what it's spelling is a strong defense or protection of governance or administration. A strong defending or protecting administration. So when you look upon this world and you look at where do you find something in this world that provides a strong protection or defending administration? Okay, Echad. That's the meaning, Echad. So when it has to do, because so he's talking about God is one. So that's the word one, which is used in many things, but they became one flesh. That's the word Echad again. Echad is for one became one flesh. So it's been used in several parts, But Echad, because it's one, I kept thinking for a long time where connected in this world, because remember God is dealing with creators, with producers, and so where the creators and producers want to go to a place that offers a strong protection, or a strong defense. That is an administration to offer a strong defense or strong protection. And then it hit me, that once you have a word and it makes you a creator because you can make a wholesome product, you need to take it to the patent office. And that's exactly what a patent office is. A patent office provides a strong defense or a strong protection, and it's an administration that does that. It's a governance. It's a system, a mechanism that provides that provides strong protection and a strong defense for your product and service. So the reason why they want to have a patent office or go to the patent office is so that they can have exclusive rights, the rights of exclusivity. Because once you take it to the patent office, you become the exclusive owner of a particular product and service, right? So you have exclusivity. And that exclusivity is what gives you value. You see? So the reason why people defend the patent, that was given, because that's what gives you the value for your company. The value of the company is not found, in gold and silver or diamonds or anything. It's found in the fact that it's being declared an exclusive product, an exclusive intellectual property of yours, and it's being defended. And this administration is making sure that you remain the one that is recognized for it, and anybody that wants to make a claim for it, can be debunked, can be put to jail if for trying to steal your property. And so those are the things that give value. So you understand? And so that's when I began to understand that the true standard that governs every economy is not gold. It's the exclusivity rights. Your echad. That what makes you the one and only. Because everybody wants to be the one and only or the first one, right? We are the fathers of this. We created this. We are the fathers of this industry. They want to be the one and only. Okay? And so that's why he says, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, He is exclusive in being the creator of the resilient garden. Nobody can lay claim on that. We have adopted a retarded garden, which is not a technological advance, by the way. It's just going backwards. Okay? And in so doing, we have lost, the ability of what made us so special in the Word. Because when it comes to the exclusive garden of the resilient garden, that is in our cells, in organic cells, in the insects, in the plants, the trees that are there in nature, that kind of a resilient garden, He has the exclusive right. He is the exclusive owner of it, and nobody can compare with that. No mankind, even Monsanto is trying to replicate the plants, but without seeds, making them retarded as it is, so they can control that market. They can give the seeds away and they can control it that way. But what I'm saying is everything goes backward. Everything was so perfect to begin with, and everything went backwards and we lost it. So you got to find out that one stands for what gives value to things in this country. Now the thing is this, which I'm getting to the main thing. So my name David, by the way, is composed of this letter Daleth and this letter Vav, which is the nails or connectors, and the letter Daleth. Okay, so my numeric value for David is 464. So number 14 is the numeric value of David. Okay, so that's why you see in the Bible the 14 generations and everything in Matthew and all that. 14 generations from Adam to this, 14 years, because it's trying to say that Jesus is the David that we're waiting for. So that's why the 14 generations are put down there, But the name 14 is for David. But David stands for the governing or the administration of connecting administrations. That's the meaning of my name, David, given to me from birth. David, which was given in Guatemala, which I didn't use it when I came to this country, but David stands for the administration that connects administration. All right? And so what I did, the interesting thing that I did is the word Echad, Aleph, Ched, and Daleth, and the word Da, Bar, Daleth, Beth, and Resh. What I did is I united those two words, Echad and the Bar. And since one ends with the Dalet and the other begins, the Bar begins with the Dalet, I just use one Dalet. So I united, I make one whole word with that. And I call that word a hot bar. A hot bar, because it's uniting the Dalet. So it has a hot and it has the bar, but it's put together and it's a hot bar. And I was thinking, when I was pronouncing that, I was thinking, that how the Muslims have this war cry. They say that sounds with almost ends with like that, because I was saying a, a hot bar, and then I thought, oh, this is they go with Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. When they go to war, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. By the way, Allahu Akbar means God is great. That's the meaning of that word in Muslim language. In Arabic means Allah is great. That's why they're crying when they go. And also when they call to prayer, they say that. But when they go to war, they also say the same thing. But Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, they call it Allahu Akbar. But I was saying that Ehat bar, and just so I will get used to this phrase that has united that, because all I'm saying in that word, is the strong, protection of the system of the economy, because I'm putting, the system, which means administration of the economy. And then I was thinking of better words of using for strong. I thought of strength or fortitude. I thought of the maximum, because you're the maximum. You're the leader, the maximum. And then for defense, I thought of security, the maximum security system. Maximum security system. Okay, system is an administration. Our mechanism is an administration. Operation is administration. So all those words you can use. So I thought maximum security system. That's another word for Ehad. Ehad means a maximum security system. Okay? And so everybody that owns a company, they want a maximum security system for their economy. That's the word Ehadvar. A maximum security system for the economy. Because that's what all of them are in agreement. That's what they all want. That's why the desire of all nations shall come. That's what all of them want. And that's what they make sure that they all get together at the patent office, so they all can have, because when God counts the word nations, He's counting the ones that are working and producing, and not just people and consuming. The desire of all nations shall come. And that's the desire of the nations in the sense of he who understands what they want will understand how to make it better, because the God of the Hebrews, the Elohim, the Yud He Vav He, He is above all them all, because we're only copying and we're doing an aberration, of that system. And so imagine that, that's exactly what they all want. They want the maximum security, of the administration of the economy, which stands for a hot bar, a hot bar, a hot bar. So actually, a Sakal Tav, a hot bar. That's the title of my name in Hebrew. Sakal means success, the successful functioning of the maximum security system of the economy. That's what they all want. All of them that create a product or service or want to run a nation, they want the successful functioning of the maximum security, of the administration of the economy. That's what they want to make sure that that's happened. That's the exact thing that all of them want. Okay? And so I thought, perfect. My name finally being used for the purpose of joining administration. I joined those two words and I understood what all the nations want. And so that's why the Bible said the desire of all nations shall come. Because we understand when God is transferring, He's transferring the understanding of His word. His word is going to stop being used in the emptiness, in the spirit of just being a consumer. It's easier to run this world, if you enjoy the order of words and the keeping of the order of words. Okay? And that's the whole thing that I'm trying to convey with you. We're passing now. I'm getting ready to the last in a few minutes. So before 11, I'm going to end. But so I'm trying to convey to you. So that's the whole idea. It came to me on the 19th. So I understood this is exactly what it is, because the whole world is run by words. Everything has to come as an idea. It has to be at the barium. You create a scale in your mind, then you write it down. In the retarded garden, you have to create a scale so you can make it in the physical world and create a retarded plan, man-made plan that you have to have people work for. Okay, but in the word of the Maker, you just understand and you see the scale that is there, so you understand how the word in you has to come out of you. Okay, that's why I read Last week I finished reading Psalm 19. You know how compares the first half of it, you know, as the heavens declare the glory of God and the firmament, and then he talks about the sun coming out of the bride chamber, you know, and to throw his heat and all of it, and his warm is felt all over the earth. That's exactly how we come with the word of God, understanding our maker. You know, we are here, we have inherited all this creation is ours, okay, and now we have the ability to explain what everything is doing, you know, and even how the retarded garden runs everything. We can tell them why they have to do it and why they have to do it that way, and they have to follow this because this is the order of the Eloheno, Elohim. You know, that's the order of the Most High, and they have no choice but to follow it. Okay, so I was able to decipher that. You see, because that's the whole idea of this world, to be able to decipher that and then to walk, you know, in the boldness of that and explain that to all this. Because as it is right now, I'm ready to go with this. I mean, you know, right now I'm just giving you the rough draft because I'm beginning to understand, you know, to explain it. But I have the whole outline of it. I'm going to make it very clear. You're going to see even better next week with the spelling in Hebrew and everything. But you see, the whole idea is the success, the sakal, the tub, the echadvar, echadbar. Having a hard time, but I'll get used to it. Was putting echad and the bar together is echadbar. Okay, the so that's why everybody in nature wants the successful functioning of the maximum security administration of the economy. That's what they all want. You know, nations want that, corporations want that, everybody that's a producer in this world, you know, because you know what nations is in Hebrew? Hebrew, the word nations is goyim. It has there's the gimel. The gimel for foot, you know, foot stands for walk or career. So it's your career, and it has gimel. It has a mem for solutions, okay, and it has the lamet for instructions. So, uh, uh, so goyim has this three letters. Gimel, which means the career of solutions of the instructions. So when God made nations, He made them so that they will have the career of bringing the solutions of the instructions. That's what the word nations means. You see, the beautiful thing about Hebrew, it tells you why God created something. Nations, the function of the nations, are to have the career of bringing the solutions of the instructions. And that's exactly what we live in here in this world too. We get a career to bring the solutions of the instructions or the guidelines. Okay? So if that's what we need, then God is looking at nations to being as producers, because that was the first ideal reason why they made them. So, and everybody's hired to be a producer. They're not hired to be a consumer. You have to pay to be a consumer yourself. So then you understand that that's exactly the desire of all nations. The word nations means those that have a career, you know, to do the solutions of the instructions, which are producers. That's what the word nations means in the Hebrew. What they all want, they want a successful functioning of the maximum security system of the economy. That's what they all want. You know, because that's exactly how they will ensure to have the things going and turning. And so when everybody learns to keep those things, you know, that's how when things process. And so this is the beautiful thing about that. And so this is going to be this is the complete title of my book now. Okay, that is going to be going out, and I'm going to be delving into different chapters and sharing the chapters with you, probably before it goes to publication. But that's what we're going to be doing. That's why I'm very encouraged to do this, you know, and to go and to have this time of fellowship with you guys. You know, I'm glad to you guys stay here all this time, you know. And okay, now can we ask the last one? But this time I want to ask those that make some money not to answer, to give a chance to somebody else to answer. Okay, let's give a chance to somebody that hasn't won to answer. Let me think about another question here. So for the third question, all right. Okay. Let me see. Here we go. Let me think of a not too hard one. All right. Let's see if anybody remembers this. Who is the author of the book of Job? Who is the author of the book of Job? Let me get this thing out. Let me go down there and see who wrote the book of Job. I know I didn't repeat it that much, but I did say that. Let me see who heard. All right, have anybody? Palabra in Spanish, the bar. Okay, good. Let's see what we have at the end. Mose! Hey! That Rosa! Okay, Rosa. All right, Rosa Crispin. Got Moses. That's close enough. Moses, you got it too. All right. So Rosa gets the other 50. All right. Okay, so we had three winners tonight. Brian Wanta, and Andy Crispin, and Rosa Crispin. I got the other 50. So congratulations. I'm glad you stick to the end. But I hope you have learned something also. Try to share with you the things that have been going through my mind, and these are things that I have spent my whole life thinking about and meditating of, and my life has been made the better for it. Without looking for any of the benefits of this retarded garden. God has given me a lot of things from this retarded garden, without looking for it, because I put his resilient garden first, especially the word. That's the main garden to me. The garden for my soul. And that's the only thing I can encourage people. The brother here is sharing something. I'll put him down for a minute. All right. Okay. So let me go back to this. And so that has been the thing I wanted to share with you. That. It's beautiful to know that I mean, I'm happy that I have completed this book in the sense of the title. It took me a while, and to me, I knew that there was something missing from the title, but that you see, understand. So you see, Echad, and it says in the book of Zechariah. I'll explain to you how next week in the book of Zechariah that in the end time, that's how God is going to be known by the name of Echad, one. That's you're going to be your homework. Look in the book of Zechariah for when God is going to be known as Echad, as one. All right, and we're going to be talking about that, but all of that has to do with that's the desire of all nations. They want that warranty. They want to make sure that they want to make sure that they have the successfully functioning maximum security system of the economy. That's what they all want, because they want to make sure that all things work and function smoothly. Those dedicated for that. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate those of you that stuck to the very end, and we'll continue to do this, and I'm sure that more people will be joining us, but I'm glad for you that came and joined us. I'm sure I hope that you learned something. I hope that it was beneficial to you. And I want to have more stuff in better order and better outline as the weeks progress, because this is just things as they came out this week. And as they came out this whole weekend, I always wanted to share on Father's Day. I was so eager. Since Friday, I've been wanting to share this, but I figured, okay, I'm going to have to leave it until Wednesday, and share a little bit of this to begin with. And then we're going to be talking more about this and connecting more things as we go. All right, and how to approach the people with this understanding, And that's the whole idea of the book, is to teach you to value and to give words the highest esteem possible by presenting word as a wholesome word and not just as echo chambers, so that we are here to be garden dispensers and not garbage disposals. All right? So may your Maker bless you and keep you. And so thank you for joining me today. Let me put this out here. And so I appreciate you being here, you guys. And congratulations to the winners once again. Brian, Andy Crispin, and Rosa Crispin. Okay, welcome. We make it. So a little late here, but I was trying to make sure everything was fitting right. But we started. Welcome you to our gathering today here online.